G'day Internet, my name's Owen. Today I'm going to show you how to make pizza dough. What I have is a large metallic mixing bowl. I have 1 kilogram of plain white flour, and importantly not self-raising flour. I have salt. I use about 1 teaspoon of salt, and I use iodized table salt because apparently that's better for you for some reason that I have no idea, but apparently it is. Then I use extra virgin olive oil, but any olive oil will do. I use just a splash. You'll see how much I use. I have 1 litre of water. I won't actually use 1 litre. I have no idea how much water I use when I make pizza dough, but we'll find out as we go along how much water you need for 1 kilogram of flour. I have these dry yeast sachets, so I use 1 7-gram sachet for 1 kilogram of flour. I have a spoon for stirring everything, and a paper towel for cleaning up. So let's get started. The first thing that I do is I empty the majority of the flour into the bowl. I leave some flour left over, just a little bit, maybe about 1/6 of the packet, to add more later if I need to, if I add too much water, and also for dusting the pizza later. So what I do is I just smooth it around, make a little hole, rip open the yeast, which maybe I can't do, but we'll see. Rip open the yeast, pour that in. Some people like to soak the yeast in warm water with sugar to get it going, but I find you don't need to do that if you leave the pizza dough for about 3 hours, which we'll do. Okay, so the first thing that I do is then I add a splash of the olive oil, so not too much, and I pour in some water. So I've poured in about 150 mils of water, and we'll just stir that and see how we go. This won't be enough water, but it's better just to add the water and stir rather than adding in too much, because then you're screwed. So I'll add a bit more water, keep stirring, keep stirring, keep stirring. You really don't want it to actually be very sticky. This is almost the consistency we want. I might add a splash more water, but I really don't think we need much more water than that. So so far I've used 400 mils of water. That's another about 20 mils of water. There we go. All right, this actually might be a bit too sticky, which is why we've got the extra flour. Stir it, we'll stir it, we'll stir it. Stir it, we'll stir it. And at some point you've got to use your hand, it just gets too hard, and I think we're reaching that point. But before we get to that point, I'm going to add my teaspoonish of salt, which I've done. I'm not sure why you add salt to it. I think it's to give the yeast nutrients, but I'm really not sure. The olive oil gives the bread a nice flavour and improves the consistency of it. Okay, so that's about stirred as good as it's going to be. This is where the paper towel comes in handy. I just tear that off. Clean the spoon. If you don't do this, it sets like concrete and it's just a nightmare to clean. This way it's a lot easier. You can just clean your hands. Now, I think this is a bit sticky. You see it's sticking to my hands a bit. So what I'm going to do is just add a splash more flour and just sort of coat the dough in the flour. But it has a nice consistency. See, I can squeeze my hands through it. It's very, very, very nice. This is what you want. Actually, that might be still a bit too sticky. So let's some flour. Okay, there we go. So yes, you don't want it sticking to your fingers, but you don't want it crumbling either. So you want it to be soft. You're able to squeeze through it, but it's not sticking too much. And then what you need to do is just knead it like this. Everyone says to knead it for 8 minutes, but no one complains when I only knead it for like 1 minute. So I think you can get by with just kneading it for a short period of time. So the kneading is important for a number of reasons. It distributes the yeast through the flour and the salt and the olive oil as well. But importantly, it breaks down these large fibrous molecules in the yeast, in the flour. I think they're proteins. So it breaks these down and makes the bread softer. And you see, this is actually getting sticky. Sometimes I find, as you do, it gets stickier and stickier and stickier, so then you need to add a bit more flour. So if you just find it getting sticky, just add flour. And don't worry about adding too much flour, because if you add too much flour, you can always add more water. There we go. So we just knead, and we knead, and we knead. And I think what I might do is edit some of this kneading out, because, well, it's needless. Okay, so I've been kneading it for about a minute now. Probably want to knead it for another minute. This is the sort of consistency that we have. So it's quite soft. You can, really push your hands through it. It's not sticky in any way, but it's not crumbling either. It's not overly floury. Actually, it is a little bit sticky, so add a bit more. And we'll just keep kneading. So I've been kneading for a bit over 2 minutes now, I'd say, and at about this time I'd probably say it's done. What we do now is we cover the bowl. I don't know why you need to cover the bowl, but it doesn't work if you don't, so you have to cover it in an airtight container. The dough is currently looking like this. It has really, really lovely consistency. So what we'll do is I'll pop a plate on top, and we'll just leave it for 3 hours. Now, a nice trick you can do, if it's cold, so for instance if you live in an igloo, you can fill your sink with hot water, so not too hot, but sort of a mix of like hot and cold water, so it's sort of lukewarm, and then rest the bowl in that, coming up to about here, and that way even if it's cold and the yeast isn't going to rise, it'll be bathed in warm water, and it will rise, but it's summer currently in Australia, so I won't need to do that. Okay, so it's been about 3 hours now, so we'll just take this off, and some of the dough has gone to the top of the plates. But if we have a look here, we can see it's risen quite nicely. It's got quite sticky now, but there's a lot of air pockets through this, so it's quite nice. What we'll do is, it's a bit sticky, so I'll just get a bit of flour on here. We're just going to knead it a bit, get it into a nice ball, and they might be hard to see, but the consistency's changed quite a lot. So, we're about done. This is the finished pizza dough. Join me next time when I will show you how to convert this dough, or dough very much like this, into actual pizzas. Till next time, thanks a lot. Bye.